Welcome to Candid Creoles, where we elevate and celebrate Haitian excellence and friends. And today we have a guest, Jimmy Moise. Jimmy is going to talk to us today about his project that's happening, his event that's happening in Las Terrenas in March 2022. First, I'm going to tell you a little about Jimmy. And before Jimmy migrated to Florida, Jimmy had served as a senior air traffic controller for almost 18 years at the International Airport in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And he moved to Florida, specifically to Miami. And after a few jobs, he started to work as a freelancer for English, Creole, and French interpreter, and entering the service of helping Haitian compatriots who have yet to learn to speak the language, the English language. In that capacity, Jimmy got to immerse himself much deeper into the fabric of a component of the Haitian community here. And in doing so, Jimmy got to build more connection into the system of the public administration and the local government in Haiti. And in 2003, Jimmy created Le Petit Club. It's an art, entertainment, and cultural organization, non-profit, not-for-profit in Miramar, which is in Broward County, Florida, with the help and support of close friends of himself. And in 2004, Jimmy invited his closest friend, Moise Pasha Brent, to come to help him bring the same type of art and culture adventure that he had started at his house in Miramar to his home backyard located in the area of Old Cutler, South Miami. And there we called it his home local gathering, Espace Brent. And this was a setup as such that quickly it had become the trend center hub for the Haitian society in the Miami area from 2004 to 2006. And in 2006, he moved back to rejuvenate Le Petit Club, which he has finally incorporated in 2007. So, and today, again, Jimmy will be sharing about his event happening in the Dominican Republic in March 2022. Welcome, Jimmy.
Well, thank you very much, Isabel. That's a very great introduction.
Welcome. Thank you. I pulled it up all from your site. And I tried to shorten it a little so we can discuss more about it and share more of what you do. So what I like to say, I know it's obvious you said here on the description that I just shared from your website and that you are from Haiti, but I like to ask people a more deeper question about their connection about Haiti. So what's your connection about Haiti? Where you from Haiti, and were you born and raised there as well?
Yes, I was born and raised in Haiti, in the capital, Port-au-Prince, in the quartier of Turgeot. Mm-hmm. At least that's what my family told me. That's where I was born.
Okay.
And raised there, went through Canapé Vert, again, very young age with the family. And finally, my parents built up their first house in Crissois, behind the church, down the hill of Crissois. And the street took the name of our family, and it still stands today. Riel Moise still exists today.
Oh, okay.
So this is how I grew up in Haiti. And I migrated here at a very, not only, I cannot say young age, I should say at middle age, because I went through primary school in Haiti, secondary school in Haiti as well. Now I went to Collège Canado-Haïtien, those that are familiar with.
Yes, very familiar. I have friends who went there.
Precisely. So from there, with my parents, that I already had a brother that was living in Canada. Mm. And the scholarity, the program, everything was kind of Canadian in Canada. So when I left Haiti, my parents sent me directly to Montreal, Canada. So that's where I finished my high school, my secondary fourth and secondary fifth. That's how they called them in Montreal, Canada. That was in 1976, to put more kind of precise date on it. And then I migrated to the United States in the early 80s from travel from Montreal back to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and then to New York City, the Queens area. So that's how my roots started it to have the connection to what I'm so passionate about doing now, which is community art and putting on a different pedestal those that are really making the difference.
So you were in New York and in Queens. I actually used to live there myself. And then you moved to Florida when exactly?
That was 1978 when I moved from Queens to the southwest part of Miami.
Okay.
And I went to Miami-Dade Community College because at the time the colleges were community college. I mean, those that were for 2 years term.
2 years term.
And that was the one in the South.
Yeah.
So that was in 1978.
Okay. Okay. So and living in New York for so many years, and as a former New Yorker myself, what did you love more about New York? Because I know New York and Florida are completely two different places.
Well, just like the adage or Haitian adage, I say New York is a school. I can testify to that. I learned how to be a man today from being, well, let me say, I was spoiled from my family childhood in Haiti, growing up into a family of 10, and I was the youngest. Both of my parents were very aged at the time that I was born. My father was already 64 years.
When you were born?
Yes.
Oh my.
My mother was not that old, but very old as well. So kind of, they were not expecting having that child.
You were like an unexpected surprise. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's maybe where I started it, spoiling from, motherhood and kind of, things that I wasn't, that much part of growing up.
So so there is a big gap with you and your siblings.
You understand precisely. My closest one, we have almost 5 years difference.
Okay.
And my oldest one, wow, maybe 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So usually what happens is when you are the youngest and there is such a big gap, the oldest act like your parents more than like siblings.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Wow. That was, yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. So, and then now when you moved to Florida and you started, what prompted you to start Le Petit Club?
Well, that's a very good question.
But first, tell us what Le Petit Club is, if you don't mind, before you tell us what prompted you.
Le Petit Club, as those that speak a little bit of Haitian patois, French as well, it's not Le Petit Club, which is a French word, but Le Petit Club is a diminution of Le Petit Club with the apostrophe. That means something small. And we wanted as well, I had from very young age growing up in Pétionville, there were a club called Le Petit Club before. And that club was a social friends gathering club in Pétionville at the time.
Okay.
So when I moved here and I kind of re-immersed myself in the passion of the arts, and I had just bought my Miramar home, which has a very nice open backyard that kind of fits the Haitian tradition of la kulakai.
Okay, so having get together and stuff like that.
Precise.
Okay.
With the encouragement of a few friends, naming, just like you said, Pasha Brad was my closest one. Patrick Pidou, Gary Crisson, Henri, Atifre Alexandre. These were the four guys that really pushed me to say, hey, Jimmy, the house is so fit for us having our friends gathering during the weekend because we don't have anything in Miramar because that was in 2002. Miramar at the time were not that much kind of the champion city that Miramar became now, which we won this year, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, you're going to tell me more about that later. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sure.
Yes, yes. I'd love to hear more about that. Go ahead.
And you say, yes, let's do something, you know, for us and friends, etc. So we started the kind of having friends in the backyard during the weekend. And I think someone said, well, shall we give it a name? And I said, yeah, I already have the name. He said, what's the name? I said, Le Petit Club. The guy said, oh, yeah, Le Petit Club. I remember in Haiti, Le Petit Club in Pétionville. All these guys, they know it because we are all from the same generation.
Yeah.
And that's how the name came up too, which means small club. And how it became what it is today, it's kind of a little bit of a long story. But to make it short, I can say with my connection with many artists in the vicinity of Miramar, North Miami, Fort Lauderdale, which I knew at the time, most of them came from Haiti. And we wanted to do more than a friend social club and to put some emphasis on the poetry, which at the time, there was a movement called spoken word poetry.
Okay, but the artists that when you said the artists, were you were talking about poets only, or you were talking about musicians, you were talking about painters, you were talking about different, tem toute qualité artiste là dans groupe là.
Exactement. At the beginning, it were mainly poetry and visual arts.
Okay.
Il y a bon nom des artistes comme Couture Bastien qui vraiment contribué à faire le petit club qui s'y lien Chabran. Et ce sont des messieurs corps qui permettent que non seulement we came from a backyard social friends gathering to be enlarged that one day a Miramar commissioner was invited to one of the gatherings. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the turning point, the turning moment when Le Petit Club started to be, you know, what we kind of, so we liked it, you know, to be among friends. But there were Jamaican people, there were Bermudian people, there were other people from the Caribbean community that came and enjoyed what was happening, and they wanted to be part. And that's what the idea came to create a social club at the time.
Okay.
And Commissioner Fitzroy Salesman of the city of Miramar came that day and asked to stop the event without me understanding what was happening. But I have a very good friend. He's an African gentleman from Senegal. His name is Dr. Babacar Kumbo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that had invited the commissioner to the gathering because he was part of it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the commissioner was so impressed to see what was the art mixing with the, I told you, the spoken word.
Yeah.
And it says, well, the city doesn't even have something like that. I want to have this guy as my guy in the city.
Ah.
And Babacar came up to me and I said, the commissioner wants to nominate you as the cultural, what was the title again? I forgot. And I say, well, what is this? I'm not into politics. He says, no, that's not a political position.
That's
It's
a cultural
cultural.
position.
Exactly. He says, man, this is everything that we've been looking for. You'll be at a position to
Ah.
do more for the community.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
okay. So that's how he stopped the event and he took the mic and he announced that he was very pleased to see what's going on here. And he wanted to nominate me as the cultural board, his representative on the cultural
Got it. Got it.
advice,
Okay.
advisory board. Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I started to pay my skill for the city of Miami. I served 2 years for this commissioner until he was unfortunately arrested and jailed.
Wow.
And that was for different consequences that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
completely out of the control of anybody.
Yeah.
And they had another election to kind of replace him.
Mm-hmm.
The person that came after was our actual Dr. Barbara Sharif. And I was part in her election. And she asked me if I wanted to represent her in the board again. And I said yes. So I had a second term for 4 years.
How unusual
And
is that? Usually, when you have a new person elected, they bring their own people.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I put myself apart, you know. I let her, do her thing. And she came to me and I said, Jimmy, would you like to? And I said,
That's great.
eh,
That means you were doing something really good for the community before. So she took notice of that. She took notice
I
of that.
think so.
Yeah, that's great. So how did that and now you've been hosting events. So Le Petit Club has like expanded its reach,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
What caused that? Because I know now you're going to have an event in the Dominican Republic. So how did you come from Miramar to the DR now? Is that the same thing or is that a different organization?
No, it's the same thing. It's an expansion, just like you mentioned. Um, we are in 2021.
Yeah.
In last March, because my signature event, which is this one, the prestigious Women of Excellence Award, it's always on March because it's to celebrate women.
The Women
March
Month.
has been recognized as a Women Month for some years now.
Yes.
And a lot of people are more into that celebration during the month of March and giving more of their not only support, but time, observation, participation. These are things that I have observed throughout the years.
Okay.
And I say March is the month that I'm going to keep to do that every year.
That. Well, how long have you been having the women in this event for the Women of Excellence?
This is the sixth edition.
So it's been once a year you've been having it.
That's correct.
Okay.
But I have tried 2 years prior to establish it since 2014 with the city of Miramar, in collaboration with the city of Miramar.
Okay.
At the time, with Commissioner Troy Samuels, a very nice gentleman, and that really helped the organization become what we are today. And also, I shall mention with the great participation of the group Bookman Experience.
Okay.
In
So Bookman played at your event for you.
Yes, and I represent them for 3.5 years in Florida as well.
Okay.
In 2014, the city kind of accept my proposal to celebrate every year for the Haitian community during the month of March, the celebration for women. And I chose to start that celebration with two major Haitian groups. There was Bookman Experience and Emeline Michel. Again, that was in 2014. That event became, before the event happened, so successful. We had closed down and sold out 1 week before the event happened.
Where was it
1
held,
week
the first event?
at the city of Miramar, at the Miramar Art Center.
Okay. Okay.
The Cultural Center.
Okay. Okay.
At the time, the Cultural Center had 12 seats available. Now they have, I think, 765.
Okay.
We were booked 1 week prior to the event. I remember, unfortunately, a lot of people kind of hate my guts at the time because they were looking for tickets and they could not get tickets. You know, Haitian used to, yeah, at the
last minute they're going to purchase. Yeah.
Last minute they're going to purchase.
And here in the United States, when you're booked, when you sold out, you sold out. In Haiti, people, I don't know if we know the word sold out in Haiti because people will show up and try to get in even if it's really packed inside. I remember growing up, that's what used to happen. But here, when it's sold out, there is a maximum of people that can be in that location. Then you got to follow those rules for safety reasons.
I think that's
yeah.
what happened to me.
Yeah.
People did not take count of what precisely you just said, came to the event knowing 1 week prior there were no tickets available, to come precisely to hit my guts, counting of Jimmy's gonna do something for me anyway.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, that's the culture as well. That's the culture. We got to say that. Yeah. That's the culture.
And unfortunately, that happened again to me this year.
Well, that happens for you, I would say, not to you, because if you sold out early, that's what you're saying, right? You were sold out again this year?
This year.
Well, that's a good thing.
It was worse, you know, because of the COVID.
But I'm surprised though, because of even with COVID, we had a lot of attendance.
Let me tell you, moi été honoré parmi les grands officiels qui gagnent et Anessa à l'intérieur de City of Miramar, commissionnaire Alexandra Davis, peut-être qu'on connaît.
Mais c'est ici que tu fais encore, so c'est Miramar encore fait alors.
Oui, et Anessa, c'est Miramar que me fait encore.
OK.
Mais premier événement que me parle, c'était en 2014 et 2015. Là, ça, c'était en collaboration avec City of Miramar. C'est-à-dire que, bon, écoute, on va tout bagaille, quoi. C'est eux-mêmes qui te bon cop pour me faire.
D'accord, d'accord.
Anessa, c'est comme PAM.
Qui fait. OK.
Mais ils ont aidé moi, ils ont longé ville là pour moi, ils ont un paquet d'opportunités qui fait que je réalise.
Mais pour qui ça va faire dans Dominican Republic next year then?
Oh. Événement ça qui relève de prestigious Women of Excellence Award qui en 2022 pour gagner 6 ans. Ce deuxième année, il était dérapé, la première année, il était dérapé en Floride, et Miami, la Kainou, nous tout haïtiens, la Pembroke Pines, Casa Champette, la Kaipam. Deuxième année, même ça qui a passé là, on me dit, well, why don't we try elsewhere? Let's do it in Haiti. Deuxième année, on fait en Haïti. On fait l'hôtel Montana, Mars, même genre, succès, en collaboration. Parce que nous toujours travaillons en collaboration avec deux organisations.
Oui, bien sûr.
Documenté par le Nouvelliste, la deuxième année. Troisième année a sorti tellement successful parce que c'est à partir de moment ça me vient nous reconnaître que mon bagage là. Là me fait Hollywood, downtown, cœur Hollywood. Côté que haïtien pas même payer parking, pas gain parking, faut que c'est payé pour aller payer parking. Haïtien sorti New York, Canada et New Jersey. Quand ils font bon, qui pas jamais sorti, c'est à cause de l'âge. Sorti, je sois ça, je documenté soirée, monsieur c'est qui fait un reportage excellent. Il y a 4 reportages qui fait ce soirée ça, 3e édition. Rodman Kousseau, Haiti TV, Island TV, personnellement, et puis Carl Fonbon. Mais c'est Carl qui t'a fait meilleur reportage, parce que je ne vais jamais de l'autre reportage jusqu'à présent. 4e année, nous tous connaissons COVID. Bon gré, malgré, nous avons reconnaître qu'il y a des bons monde qui reconnaissent l'effort. Honoré était extraordinairement excellente. Nous avons un juge, l'Odijan, qui fait un reposer candidature là qu'on a, de m'espérer que tout va bien passer, s'il pas passé déjà. Elisabeth Guérin, Island TV, maire en ville que nous avons tout côté Miramar, qui est le Pembroke Park, c'est en Trinidadienne que lié. Les Aïcha Mohamed. Nous avons l'autre Trinidadienne de West Palm Beach, qui est une jeune Miss internationale de Trinidad en 2019. Il était Miss Florida. Nous avons gagné.
Tout le monde, ça a fait partie des invités dans l'event où tu fait année ça.
C'était un récipient qui était démon continuer tradition chaque année fait événement ça malgré que tu as COVID-19 en 2020 pour passer là.
OK. Bon, ça a étonné que tu aies tant de succès parce que on connaît un pile monde pas de sortie.
Attends. C'est 2020 que je parle. 2020, nous avons fait le virtuel. Que m'a fait là.
Oh, d'accord. OK.
Alors, mon c'était des récipients qui étaient dans le mouvement et puis dit que malgré Covid, on a fait le virtuel. Tout le monde est d'accord.
Bien sûr. Et ça, tout le monde a fait. C'est ça, tout le monde
voilà. Avec l'aide de mon et puis je vais citer surtout le commissionnaire Miramar et Maxwell Chambers. Et je prends un événement même de A à B pour nous arriver de point A, nous arriver jusqu'à point Z. Avec la grande dame de notre communauté, Sandra Justice. Ça, c'est des mondes qui te permettent que l'événement fait en grande opportunité. Et ça, ne pas oublier, l'Estée d'Alencourt, boum boum. Ça, c'est mon partenaire personnel qui sera avec nous en 2022 à Las Terrenas.
D'accord. Donc, en 2022, Dominican Republic. That's where it's going to be held.
C'est ça, à Las Terrenas, la ville de Las
Las
Terrenas.
Terrenas. D'accord.
Mhm.
Now, why did you go to the DR to host in 2022?
Bon, alors, étant donné que j'ai donné un petit peu de résumé à partir de la première édition arrivée jusqu'à la 6e édition, et c'est un monde qui remet faire des challenges. Et challenges, ils ont ouvert d'autres horizons. Par exemple, l'édition n'a jamais eu avant des récipients sortant de la région européenne. Or, avec cette opportunité sur la République dominicaine, nous gagnons 3 récipients de la France qui ne sont pas des mois, parmi lesquels on met adjointe une grande ville en France, la ville de Chaville, dans l'île de France. Donc, en République dominicaine, et il y a des gens qui me demandent pourquoi, et puis moi, des fois, je me réponds pourquoi pas. Mais surtout, je me fais sensible à situation qui fait comment ça peut évoluer, un petit peu de discorde entre les deux communautés, haïtiennes et dominicaines, surtout de façon que dominicains a traité haïtiens d'une certaine
Mais
façon.
c'est pas nouveau, c'est pas quelque chose de nouveau. Ouais, c'est pas quelque chose de nouveau. Et peut-être qu'il y a une différente ampleur avec ça qui a passé, hein? Mais c'est pas quelque chose de nouveau. Que moi, bon, et parfois je ne comprends pas ce qui se passe. Donc, comme moi, parle d'Haïti, mais vraiment, c'est pas quelque chose de nouveau. Mais Kounia, il ont différent, capable de dire, il prend ampleur qui est différent et parmi les Haïtiens, comme c'est avec on parler. Yeah. Donc, mais quand même, il y a un pile, une grande communauté haïtienne qui habite à la République dominicaine. Donc,
oui.
Est-ce que Las Terrenas a un grand un groupe assez large d'Haïtiens qui fait ces larges choisis pour faire les?
Las Terrenas, pas un grand groupe d'Haïtiens, que c'est peut-être ça que je choisis de faire là. Je choisis de faire là parce que il y a un groupe d'Haïtiens qui commence à évoluer, mais surtout, il y a un grand groupe international.
International, c'est ça.
Parce que l'événement, c'est idée à caractère international. Donc, m'espérer que avec la promotion que déjà dérapé, que je continue à entreprendre, que je vais continuer là, va permettre que moi toucher d'autres catégories sociales qui vivent ici.
D'accord. Donc, c'est ouvert à tout le monde. C'est pas juste pour la communauté haïtienne, c'est son un mouvement qu'on a fait qui est dédié à toutes les femmes internationalement.
Voilà.
D'accord, je comprends. Et pendant que tu as regardé dans biographie sur site là côté voyez ba moi que il dit que it says that you have 2 video documentary about Haitian art and culture, and you received 2 city officials proclamations from Pembroke Pines and Miramar. First, with that in mind, I also want you to share with us something you mentioned earlier. You said you won something. We won something. I'm not sure what you meant with that. I said we're going to talk about that. With the city of Miramar?
That I'm kind of lost.
Okay, that's okay. No worry about it. Tell me about the documentaries.
Okay. The documentaries are about the evolution and the participation of the artistic Haitian community in South Florida. The inception was from 2004 inward to my last one was, I believe, and they are at the libraries in Broward County. the videos. Anybody from anywhere in the world can
And
go to
rent
the
them.
library and not rent them, borrow them with the
Yes.
library card.
Oh, that's true.
You,
The library is free. That's true.
yes,
Correct.
yes, you
Correct.
borrow them, you go home with it, you
Action.
visualize it, and you can make a copy of yourself if you want. But you have to bring it back.
You have to return it. Yes.
Yes.
If you don't get to
This is
return
the
it, that's
condition.
when you pay. Because I have lost books from the library before, and I had to pay for
Mhm.
it. Because I used to take my kids to the library a lot when they were little. So if we lose a book, then we have to pay for it. We had two choices actually. The library gives you the option to purchase it brand new and then bring it back, or you pay for it and then they will buy it. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you have to do
And
that.
those were, excuse me, these were effort put together not only by myself, like where I'm speaking to you right now on top of the hill in Coson in the Dominican Republic. It is at my friend's house, and it's not any friend. It's a gentleman that helped me from the get-go with the organization, and that makes it what it is today.
Okay.
And the guy is Renal Jean Baptiste. Why I say that is because you asked me the question. When the documentary was done, Ray Jean Baptiste was the first gentleman that sponsored with his money for me to go to editing at a professional studio for 3 weeks and for only the support of his sponsorship, knowing that this is not a selling product. This is going to the library for the community. So these are the type of friends and people that I kind of surround myself from years and trying to keep the line.
So you've
Because
known
when
each
you
other
do that,
forever. So you stand by each other. That's good friendship. That's really great friendship. Yeah, that's great friendship.
yeah.
And so the ladies that you honor at the event, how do you select those ladies? Because I was looking at some of the pictures you've been posting on the page. So how do you select them?
We, when I say we, because I'm not only by myself, I have a committee of selection composed of myself, Leslie Dalancourt, Boom Boom, the well-renowned artist, my brother, Jean-Serge Moise, and lately a great lady has been incorporated at a, shall we say, part-time, but it's the great Nadine Ilea Assad that gave her support to us without any hesitation. We are the three guys that do the selection, and the selection, what we do first before we get to the selection is observation. And I am the guy that is mainly responsible. As Le Psy Club operates throughout the year in doing different cultural events, most of them free of charge for the community, we do this March event every year also as a tool of fundraise for our year coming up.
Yes.
At the same time, when we do that, we also kind of attract other organizations with us and give donations to people that we see that really help out the community in different situations. Just for instance, the earthquake that happened in Haiti, the two recipients for the 2022 donations are the Haitian Nurses Network that did a tremendous work in Haiti for the earthquake. They are based in New York City with a branch in South Florida and in Georgia as well.
Yeah.
And the second organization is based in Haiti, and she's Her name is Yendi Cave, with for the kids of Haiti. What she does is be sustainable for the young girls that are poor, and give surrounding uh, uh, to those in needs.
Yeah,
And
we
these
need
are
that in
people
Haiti, huh?
that you need to kind of encourage. So that's what we do for that yearly event in March, like we're going to do in 2022. But now, in terms of raising that fund, we also uh, start with where we are based in Miramar. And Miramar is being very instrumental in for the past, I should say 18 years.
Okay, okay.
Because the prior mayor, uh, Mayor uh, Lori Mosley, was very supportive of the organization. That's how it became the first proclamation.
So the location was perfect, was ideal.
Precise. And as the mayor recognized, many cultural events that were done in the city, I am the gentleman they were calling to do the artistic part of it, because at the time there were nothing artistic in the city of it. So I started it with them in 2006, when President George W. Bush had declared the Caribbean Heritage Cultural Month has been recognized officially in the United States. At the time, Mayor Lori Mosley and the city commission, they wanted to do something to elevate and to celebrate the Caribbean community.
Yeah.
But they didn't know who were the artists, what to do, who to call. And I was the gentleman that they called that helped them organize the first year in 2006. So that's how I started with the city of Miramar that gave me the proclamation. But next door, the city of Pembroke Pines, they were the real one that discovered my talent without me knowing that I had talents to give out to people out there. I did not know. I can tell you frankly. I came here just like any other Haitian people, working, doing my things, and be happy for my family and things. I shall cite her name. The artist called Arlene Magloire, very good friend of mine. She's the one that, see, Jimmy, there are a lot of things that I see you can do and you don't even know it. I'm going to introduce you to someone that is looking for someone like you. I say someone like me. I don't know anything. He said, don't worry about it. I'll show it to you. And she went to the city of Pembroke Pines, and she was working at the time with a gentleman named Benoit Menaché. He's a white Egyptian with Israeli origin. And he was living in Pembroke Pines, and he was the cultural representative for the art gallery that they have there. They have a beautiful art gallery. It's called the Glass Gallery at the city of Pembroke Pines at the time. So I get to introduce to Benoit Menaché, and the year was 2007. And Benoit told me, I need few artists to put up a show. But I know people. I know a lot of artists. That were, if I knew something, that was the only thing that I knew. I know a lot of people.
That would not have been a challenge for you to find them because you knew them.
Exactly. It was pretty easy. Matter of fact, it was even joyful for those guys that I came up to them to offer them to be showcased
Beautiful.
at the Pembroke Pines Glass Gallery, which afterward I showcased so many people after.
So Le Petit Club itself does not have a location, correct? You don't have a location where you guys host meetings, where you your artists show up
It's
their
my
work.
backyard.
You don't have that, right?
It's my backyard.
It's your backyard. Okay, so that's still your backyard. That's how you do it. Okay, so it hasn't changed much. So how would you say it evolved into something what it is today? How did it evolve? Let me rephrase that. You started when you started in your backyard with your friends, and then now you are hosting events even out of the country of where you live. You hosted in Haiti, and now you're hosting in the DR. So how did it evolve from Miramar, I would say actually Southwest Miami, to Miramar, to Haiti, to the DR? Is that something that you had planned, or it just so happened that it's evolving like that for you?
I think it started exactly at the point where we are now with Benoit Menache, the guy from the city of Pembroke Pines.
D'accord, d'accord.
He's the one that put all the lights on me. If you remember, at the time, 2007, social media was not as prominent as it is today. Mm-hmm. Our social media at the time were newspapers, major ones like Miami Herald, Sun Sentinel, Miami Times, Miami Today, you know, those ones. And major, if you want, websites from prominent institutions and organizations. Guess what? That gentleman opened all of these for me.
Okay.
How? Very simple. He says, Jimmy, thank you for giving me the artist. You know what I'm going to do for you? You're going to do an interview with Miami Herald. I say, an interview with Miami Herald? He says, yes. That was my first one. The journalist.
And you've had many interviews since then.
Oh,
with different
maybe 25 articles, 30 articles written on me about things that I've done on different newspapers throughout. I've done
Do you
a lot
write
of
articles as well, or you've been interviewed only?
Interviews.
Okay.
I write on a blog.
You do have a blog.
That. Yes, kind of seasonal writer.
Okay.
But my main topic was when our past president was there. So he was my encouragement. And I wrote about 4 chapters about him from the 4 years that Donald Trump was into presidency. And that is on a blog. It's called diamond.com.
Okay. But do you write anything else? You write mostly on the blog?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. I get it. Okay. And now, so how many ladies you going to present the award to, the prestigious Women of Excellence Award to this coming year in 2022?
2022, the fact that is out of our natural turf, which is South Florida, Miami, we did not want to make people travel from wherever they're coming from,
yes,
to come to an event only for 1 day. So we chose to do it for 2 days, and that could encompass a weekend. Someone can kind of settle for a weekend.
Yes.
And we will start on Friday the 25th, honoring the ambassadors. The ambassadors are at a number of 6. Mrs. Marie-Denise Saint-Albert, she is a great humanitarian living in Haiti. We have a former Minister of Youth and Sport in Haiti, Magali Adolphe Racine. And we have former Secretary of Youth and Sports in Haiti, Dr. Sabine Martelly. These, I'm sorry, I misspoke. They are not those be honored on Friday. They will be honored on Saturday. Those that will be honored on Fridays are the ambassadors as Marie-Denise Saint-Albert, Yudlin Jérôme, Yenzi Cave, Mimose Boboin, Manzé of Bookman Experience, and Yadzi Lemoine, and because I don't want to miss anybody, I just named 5, I think. So I think I'm missing.
Oh, you don't have the list in
one
front
last
of you.
one.
I'm sure if you miss a couple people, they will understand.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure they'll understand. They'll understand because that happened. It's just like, when people are receiving an Oscar or an Academy Award, and then they're trying to thank everybody, and then they said, I know I'm forgetting someone, but everybody will help me, basically, because you're in the conversation, you don't have a list in front of you. I'm sure they'll understand. I'm sure they understand. Well, it's really great what you're doing, because as a woman myself, I like when we started this group. No, we didn't, not the group. We started Candid Creoles for the 3rd anniversary of our group, a celebration of Haitian excellence. And right away in March, it was Women Month. So for the whole month, I only had candid conversations with women only, just to honor women. So I really commend you on what you're doing to bring to light the prestigious women in our lives and in this world. So that's really a great thing that you're doing. And as a woman, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's really great. So, and I have a question about, you said it's the 3 of you would choose who every year that you're going to have. And the 3 of you are male. Is that purposely done?
No, this is why this year, we are in 2021. We had welcome with great enthusiasm and great help from Nadine Ilea Assad. It's just the woman was missing. Let's put it this way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was curious to see if it was purposely done, if it just so happened, but you did notice that, and then you really got help from a woman as well. That's interesting. Excellent. And I know to conclude, I always like to ask a couple questions about the group, especially for somebody who's been in the group for a long time. You've been posting as well about your event, and it's really great to see people engage in the group and then post and then engage with other people's posts as well, because that's how we can continue with the group and continue the celebration of each other and of us, basically, and of our friends. So I wanted to ask you your opinion of the group, and if you see there is something that we can add to the group and what we can do to bring more values to the group as well.
Well, I was showing it to a friend of mine here earlier before we get to be live on the show. I like the title, which is A Celebration of Haitian Excellence, because that's something that needs to be celebrated and highlighted, because we have so many that are kind of changing the world. Haitians. In different ways, different aspects, different perspective, and from anywhere.
Yeah.
So when someone dedicated a social media page, especially for that, and the title, it's catchy, that was my observation.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Now,
That's the whole point of creating this group, is really was to celebrate us, and the ultimate goal is to really change the narrative about the world has about Haiti and about Haitians, because I know you don't always hear good things about us. So I thought, like, well, let's start with us and let's start celebrating each other. And then it evolved to Candid Creoles, where we can have conversation and share our stories. So instead of giving somebody else the mic and say who we are, then now we have the mic. So thank God we have the platform, that we have the internet today. We could not have done that back then. So we have the mic now. We have the opportunity to take the mic and say, okay, this is my story. This is who I am, because everybody's story is different and yet valuable. So that's why Candid Creole is here to share our stories and show the world who we truly are, and not what they are saying about us. Yeah.
well, I'm so glad to be invited to be a guest on Candid Creole conversation that I really enjoyed, and the guest, the host, Isabel Lynch, that I'm getting to discover, and it's very delighted.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And where do you see your the Petit Club? Where do you see the prestigious Women of Excellence Awards in the next 10 years, 15 years?
Oh, well, maybe not with me. Because I'm getting old and getting older. Who knows? I may not be here. With the young generation, which I've been fighting for the last at least 5 years, to kind of find a young person or younger person that will be interested in the legacy. You know, my kids, I have 2 boys, unfortunately, that have their own vision, which I have to encourage as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we each have our own vision. I have 3 kids myself. I've actually, and I have that section where I focus on the younger children, the younger generation, and I call it the emerging leaders. And my children are in the age group of the emerging leaders, and I've asked them to sit down and have a candid conversation with me, and that's still pending. So we'll see. I have one who promised to sit down with me when he graduates from school. So we'll see about that. So I totally get it. And it's not, when, as a parent, when you have something that you're passionate about, you would love your children to just take it over and then take it further. But if it's not their passion, it's not their passion. They have to follow whatever their passion is, whatever they feel called to do. That's what I always tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of your roles is to be behind them, you know?
Yes.
And they will definitely need you.
Yes.
So your passion is, may not necessarily be there. So you must kind of understand that.
Yeah, that's how life is. That's how life is. So, and we have 3 questions that I like to ask at the end, and just to challenge you with 1-word questions, 1-word answers.
So is it a quiz or what?
Pardon?
Is it a quiz or what?
It's not a quiz. It's your thought. I just want you to capture your thought in 1 word. That's all.
All right.
So I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna poser une question et pour après répondre avec un mot. So give me, can you share 1 word to describe your life?
Passion.
Passion. Okay, that's a beautiful word. And 1 word to describe Haiti.
Island. But it's 1 word. It's
no, you can say more than. I've had people break the rules and say more than 1 word. So go ahead.
A beautiful island. Beautiful island. Yes.
Beautiful island. Yes. Yes. And what advice would you have for Haitians? Specifically those in Haiti, I would say, but it could be those around the world too.
To finally tried to enlighten or unleash the cultural knowledge and savoir-faire that the Haitians have inside. Yo pas connaît que ça seul capable de faire vie tout haïtien capable de joindre travail à l'intérieur et à l'extérieur avec la culture, le savoir-faire en toute forme d'art que haïtien. Si nous te prenons ça pour nous faire une industrie qui est capable, une industrie internationale, mais nous plus à chercher derrière l'autre bagaille que l'autre monde fait l'autre côté déjà pour nous essayer de répéter. C'est ça qui est nous en arrière, qui fait que nous pas qu'à connaître que en dedans nous une capacité culturelle que étrangère, c'est ça que le besoin, c'est de chercher ça qui est unique là. Parce que ça, on cherche à répéter, à répéter 50 000 fois dehors déjà, et il y a des gens qui fait le plus bien passer. Donc, c'est profond.
Individualité, c'est ça qui pour nous t'a cultivé, c'est ça on a dit, et spécialement dans l'art, c'est ça?
Voilà, c'est ça.
C'est ça, d'accord, d'accord. C'est bien. Donc, et je te remercie beaucoup de cette conversation. Et any last word before I close?
Bon, merci Isabelle de m'avoir sur ton show qui s'appelle Une conversation candide, conversation créole. Pour ceux qui ne me connaissent pas encore, mon nom c'est Jimmy Joseph Moise et je suis un producteur culturel et aussi un promoteur international qui est passionné de notre culture haïtienne, mais qui est ouvert à la culture du monde entier. Je peux être rejoint à ce numéro sur les États-Unis au 954 687 70 63, à Kiaola, à la República Dominicana, 829 5 4 I forgot. 5 4 9 4 9 3 7. Merci beaucoup, Isabelle. Et puis, merci aussi aux téléspectateurs et ceux de Facebook et les prochains qui vont regarder le show sur YouTube. C'est bien ça?
Oui, c'est ça. Ce sera sur YouTube. Once I edit it, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be shared in our group because now from the group, if you share it, it's not going to show anywhere because Facebook algorithm blocks it from being seen by people who are not part of the group because it's a private group. So once it's edited and I post it on YouTube, then it can be shared everywhere because anybody else can see it from YouTube, from the YouTube link. Yeah. So that's where it's going to be. So thank you again. And thank you. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate this candid conversation with you. And to all of you, thank you so much for being part of the audience. And as you all know, I always say blessings for Haiti, peace for Haiti, and love for Haiti, and blessing for all. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.